this shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my dad bod.
It's bacon time, everybody. It's Thursday night again. It's Dad's with Bacon Talking Sports Show. We are going to have an amazing show for you tonight, guys. We got a fire lineup. We've got a guest from the National Championship Michigan Wolverines. Ooh, go Hail Michigan. It's hard to say, I got to rep my Irish. It's okay, but hey, I can respect good and great, and I'll even say great teams when I see them. For that Michigan team to go undefeated, win the title this year, amazing stuff. First, we got our
about your
number one
damn
host,
luck.
Cowboy Capone. DJ, how you doing, brother? How's it going today, dude?
What's up, man? How you been?
Hey, I've had a long week. It's been busy at school. It's been great, but I tell you what, man, the NFL playoffs are really been spicy. And I'm actually really excited to talk a little bit of college football and some wrestling before we get out of here.
Dude, I'm ready for tonight.
All right, next, Big Brandon from East Coast, big Patriot fan out there, buddy. How's your week been, dude?
Oh man, that was a fun weekend of football, huh?
It sure was. I tell you what, man, some exciting games. Actually, a couple outcomes that I really didn't expect. I didn't expect Green Bay to hang in there very much, but I tell you what, man, they almost pulled it off.
Close, but they ran into Purdy, though.
Oh, shout out to Mr. Bacon. Purdy's the man.
Though.
Purdy's the man. Oh, it's getting a little dark out here for Troy. Oh, we got a little switch up on the tunes. Let's go. I like it, dude. I love this.
Going on? Let's go.
Hey, you still soaking? Are you still soaking in the limelight from this year's title, dude? Are you still just drinking the champagne?
I am, and it makes Sunday forgettable. It's easy to move past Sunday, seeing what I expected to happen. I mean, we talked about it last week. In my head, I was picking the Chiefs, but in my heart, I was going with the Bills. I just, I'm one of them guys. Until I see it happen, I don't believe it. They haven't proved themselves beating the Chiefs yet, so I'm not going to believe it.
I tell you what, that's tough. That's tough to watch. But I tell you what, it's now time for our guest of honor. I'm excited to have with us for our national champion, college football Michigan Wolverines, Mr. Cole Morgan. Everybody, give a round of applause. Thanks for joining us tonight. Mr. Morgan. How are you doing, dude?
Doing well. Fired up. God.
Hey, and again, thank you so much for joining us, taking some time out of your schedule. Again, we're excited to actually have Cole on the show with us. He's going to kind of have some of his takes and comments on some of the sports and entertainment that are going on around the world. So first, we want to go University of Michigan. And currently, what year of eligibility are you in at the University of Michigan right now?
So this year I'm a true freshman. I'm going to be going into my redshirt freshman year next year. So this year I was a freshman.
Okay, so being a redshirt on the roster, for a lot of dudes, they hear that terminology being used out in the public. What are some of the things that come along with being redshirted on a college team?
Yeah, so being redshirted, a big thing for me is the development aspect. And like we talked about, there's a big aspect of being able to utilize your resources. So what a red shirt is it's essentially saving a year of your eligibility if you don't get in 4 or more games. And what that's done for me so far is it's allowed me to not only get the best coaching and really be at the best place in the best football program in the country, but it's also allowed me to be mentored under some of the best players in the draft this year, especially in the O-line position. And that's been huge for me and a lot of my teammates as well.
Troy, I'm sure you got a few questions lined up, being from the Big Blue. So, national champion fan, go ahead and take the stage.
Yeah, it's great to be able to celebrate this moment. What a year it was! All the controversy that surrounded Coach and Coach Moore stepping in and filling that role, more than impressively. Tough end of the schedule there. You had Penn State. Who else was he in there against? I know Ohio State was in there as also, but I can't remember the second to last game. Was that Indiana? Maybe I don't remember. But anyway,
wasn't it Maryland?
It was Maryland.
You're right. It was Maryland. You're right. Talk us through that a little bit. Was that? I mean, obviously you being redshirted weren't in the game plan there and stuff like that. But did you like Coach Harbaugh was there for all the game planning and stuff there? He just was not allowed to be there for the game specifically. Is that right?
Correct. So
Okay.
Coach Harbaugh just couldn't get the game. A big part of these games, and people look at these games when we play Ohio State and these bigger schools, Penn State, right? And this year we played Penn State away without our head coach. That people look at that and say, "Oh my God, how are they going to do it?" But a big thing for our team is each week, whether it was ECU, bowling, didn't matter who we were playing. It's just a faceless opponent in the way of our goals. And that's what it came down to. It didn't matter who we were up against, but we prepared the same. That was a big part of how we held ourselves, is that we were confident to say if we did what we were supposed to do and executed on Saturdays, we were coming out victorious. And you could take away our head coach. You could do whatever you want. If we execute what we know we're capable of, we were coming out victorious, and that was the look on that from in the internal side of looking on that from the team side.
I can just tell you from an outside perspective, being a fan of the team and kind of watching you guys every week and such. Like, to me, when I seen Blake and JJ and Zach and Mikey, like that seemed like the heartbeat of your team. And when they took away coach from you guys and those guys stood up and you could tell the emotion and they wanted to do it for coach, like there was no stopping you guys. It was unbelievable.
100%. And those guys came back with a purpose. I mean, their purpose was to become national champions. And there was second place, third place. That wasn't good enough for them. And you saw in the Rose Bowl when Blake had the ball marching down, you saw in the Rose Bowl. And I talked to my dad after that, and he said something to me that stood with me, and it was Blake refuses to short of his goal. He refused all this work and this risk of him coming back and not going to the NFL last year. He refused to let that go to waste, and that was something that he took personally, took it in his own hands, and so did all of those other guys. They just the aspect of we will not lose, and that really showed on the field.
Well, that really had to mean something to Blake too, because I think he missed the last two playoffs. He got hurt at the end of the year both years, didn't he?
Yep. Blake's been hurt. His knees, I believe, for both. But he coming back for him too. That as a running back, those guys take abuse on the field. And so that's a major risk. And he was projected to get drafted last year as well. But he knew the impact he has on this team and Ann Arbor. And he came back and did what he said he was going to do.
I'll two more thoughts before I'll move on. Number one, I just love that image of Blake, and I think it happened in the Penn State game when he got his nose chopped up there or whatever, and the blood's pouring down on the side, stuff like that, and then he had that bandage over there. That was just pure 100% hard-nosed football right there, and I loved seeing that. He wasn't letting that that scrape around his nose and stuff stop him. It was a really cool image for the type of team that Michigan was this year. Second thing is, if you don't mind, if you can kind of go through your recruiting process a little bit, I'm curious to see how that went for you and what ultimately led you to Michigan.
100%. So I'm going to touch up on what you just said first about Blake. Coach Harbaugh describes. He says he uses the term dog, D-A-W. I know that's used a lot. That's used a lot in the athletic world. And when somebody says they're a dog, everybody's like, all right, he's a gritty guy, right? Coach Harbaugh has said that the phrase "dog" stands for something. It's designated, or it's a disciplined athlete with grit, and that's something that Blake in that game that we really stood out is like he's not gonna stop until he's forced to, and that's that was big with him. Going to my recruiting process. My recruiting process started out sophomore year. In high school for me, I was actually being recruited for lacrosse. I had Ivy interest. I had a lot of interest for lacrosse. I on the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey. I went to a highly prestigious lacrosse school, and was blessed enough to make varsity as a sophomore. So that brought a lot of traction to my recruiting world. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, my dad invested in we got it for dirt cheap during COVID, I should say, compared to what they were. We got a weight set. We got a bench, a squat rack, some free weights, and dumbbells. and I had so much free time during COVID that I was working out, lifting every day. I was putting on size. I was coming into my body, and I was a 16-year-old at this time. So starting to develop, starting to fill out. And then so COVID was my sophomore year. Into the fall of my junior year, I started playing football. And during my junior year, I got a small Division I offer from Merrimack College, and that was the most eye-opening experience for me, and that was something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, because that allowed me to realize what kind of potential that I do have, and the God-given gifts. And so when I was going through the recruiting process, I sat down with my dad and I got the football offer, and I said, it's been my dream since I've been a little kid to A, play in the NFL, and B, go out and play the game I love in front of 110,000 people. Right. And that's something that I've been hell bent on for my entire life since I've been a little kid. Always around athletics, always around it. And I knew playing offensive line that I couldn't do. I mean, I could do both, but putting on weight I needed, and putting on the weight I needed, because I played attack in lacrosse, and transitioning, that was something that was big for me. And so when I decided to play football, I put down the stick. I stopped playing and started playing football, and from there it was an upward slope for me there. That I started getting some Ivy offers, Patriot League offers. Then it was MAC, Sunbelt, and then later in my recruiting process, I got Michigan, and I was very close to going to West Point. Loved the coach there. Loved the way that they interacted, and how they held themselves, and just how everything fell together with those guys. And then about a week before, I got a call from our tight ends coach, Coach Newsom, asking for my transcripts, and I got those into him, and they came back good, and he offered me. And when that came in, it was I knew I was going there. It was I couldn't turn it down, because my mindset was, okay, I could go to West Point and I could have an easier time getting on the field, or I can come to Michigan and I can see how good I really am and will be against the best of the best, right? Mm-hmm. And if I didn't do that, then I would be living with that regret, saying, what could I have been? And if the path for football is very, and all college athletics, it's there's no clear line. It's very sporadic. But the one thing I need to know is that I have zero regrets with whatever happens. So I had the opportunity to take this, and with the best coaching, best mentorship, I had to take it.
That's amazing, dude. Just hearing that, dude, that's really cool, man. It's cool stuff that you have that perspective of how to just put it all out there, man. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was very stressful. People don't understand the stress of the recruiting process, because you're trying to find a home, right? This isn't a small decision. I'm finding, where am I going to go give myself the best chance to play, the best chance for my future, and the best chance for my life after football, right? Football doesn't last forever, and no college sports do. And that was a question, and I was super stressed out. And I was in church one day. I was in mass, and I prayed, and I begged for some guidance. And the next week or so, that's when I got the call from Coach Newsom, and that was it was very, very eye opening. I was extremely blessed.
So were you actually being recruited as a tight end? I'm just like,
No, I was just being recruited as a light offensive lineman. So throughout my whole recruiting process, so when I got my first football offer, I was about 240 pounds, right? That's when I started to fill out. I'm about 6'4", maybe a little more, maybe a little taller, but so I hold 240 pretty well. I was always a bigger dude, bigger attackman in lacrosse. And I knew I was going to have to put on weight, but lacrosse helped my footwork transition for offense.
I bet. Yeah, for sure.
As light as I was, I made up for that with athleticism in my footwork. And that allowed me to stay in the offense. I've never played tight end, believe it or not. My high school always had me at offensive line, defensive end. And then offensive line, I got the first offer for offensive line, and I started falling in love with it and took it and ran.
I was just curious, because you kept saying that Coach Newsom, the tight end coach, was the one that kept reaching out to you. So I didn't know why.
Yeah, he's my area coach. So
Okay.
he actually went to my rival high school when I was getting recruited. So he was familiar, and that's that's why.
Gotcha. All right, I'll stop hogging the mic. Go for it, guys.
All right, Brandon, what you got for him, dude?
Yeah, talk about how that feeling was in that national title game, just seeing the confetti come down, seeing all the hard work that everybody in that building put through the year to get you guys finally over that hump. Like, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, so being in the Texans stadium, that stadium, first thing is loud. It's a dome, so the noise comes straight down onto the field. You can't, like, the big house is loud. I personally thought the Texas Stadium was louder because of the dome. And when I saw that time tick off the clock, and I kept saying, I said, we're national champions to my teammates. It really didn't resonate until I picked up the phone, and the parents were all up in the stands in the parent section, and because the security was so tight there that only like the seniors and those guys, their parents came down. But picked up the phone and I called my dad on the field, and I'm in tears. It's you're sitting there looking around, the confetti, the Michigan everywhere, and Coach Harbaugh speaking in the background. And I pick up the phone and I call my dad and I said, "Dad, we're national champions. We did it." And he said it was earned. He said, "Think about all the work you've put in for the past, forget about football, for the past 15 years of your life. When it comes to athletics, you've worked for this, you've earned it. It's God's glory, but it's earned." And when he said that, it resonated with me that the significance of that game. And like I said before, that going into that game, Washington was another faceless opponent, but extremely respected. Right there, we knew it was going to be a game. We knew it was going to be a challenge. But nobody backed down, and being able to see all that hard work, the sweat, blood, and tears throughout my whole entire career, but also this season especially, coming into a new environment with the best of the best, it was the most eye-opening experience of probably my life, and especially in terms of athletics.
That's awesome. How often did you take reps with the first team?
Yeah, so it works in scout team. So we have scout team who gives a look for the defense, who runs our opponent's plays, and then it's scout team, and then it's first team. So my position, I'm a center, was 5 deep. So they only take the two deep for the offensive line. So playing center, we had Drake Nugent, Stanford transfer, who's a grad student, and then we had Greg Crippen, who's been a 2 his entire career at Michigan. He's projected starter for next year. He's going to have some competition next year as well. But so those 2 have been really good in. But it was so sporadic in how that worked. It really just depended on the week. It was extremely sporadic, and typically it just depended on the type of look they needed, knowing that, okay, we have the bodies we need. Now who can give the best look for this week, right? So that was something that went into it as well.
Nice. Go ahead, TJ.
Well, so I guess everybody knows Cole and I have had history. We've known each other for, 6-7 years. I actually met him in his lacrosse career. He played at Del Barton, and we met at a lacrosse convention where I actually strung his lacrosse sticks. And that's the stick right there, where that's how we met. His dad actually came to me and was like, "Hey, can you string lacrosse stick?" Because I think I was sitting down at the time stringing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, my son doesn't know how to string a stick." He's like, you could teach him how to do it, could you? And I said, yeah, sure. So he literally sat down next to me. And I'm not going to lie. You guys know me. I'm 6'1", 6'2". I'm a good 255, 260. This kid sat next to me and he was 13, I think, or, just young. And I'm like, this kid's huge. I was like, how old are you? And he's like, oh yeah, he's going into high school next year. And I'm like, nah, dude, you're messing with me right now. So, I've known Cole for a little bit, and I followed him, and, we've chatted every once in a while just to, kind of make sure everything's all good. But, Cole, me, I've, you and I've talked for a good amount, and I've always said good things about you. But dude, I think the best thing I can say right now is like, as a friend, as a fan of yours, dude, I'm super proud of what you've done. When you were going through that recruiting process, I watched you go through all these schools and all the recruitment photos you had. And it was awesome because, I mean, I saw West Point. You came to Navy, I think it was. I did see the Merrimack one, and it was the one thing that I told everybody was your dad and I talked about when you were deciding lacrosse or football. And I think that was at the same time where I was also debating my lacrosse career and football. So the fact that I took my talents, and I'm playing semi-professional and professional arena football, you took your talents to Division I. That's huge. And lacrosse is very, hand in hand with football. It helps you out. A lot of guys will do both sports in college. But the fact that watching you grow up as as this little kid who, you were terrified to even talk to anybody at that day, to now, there are people messaging you all the time, saying congratulations, go Big Blue. Like, I feel like a big brother where, when you won the national title, I was looking for you on the TV and I was like, that's my dude. Like, I know that kid. I know what he's been through. I know what he's done. It brought me to tears. I'm not going to lie. And I respect everything you've done. And, no matter what happens, dude, we're all family, and, I'll always have your back. But, this season, I'll tell you right now, my boys are coming in. We're coming in to have some fun.
All right. Get riled up. Let's not get too riled up there. But, hey, TJ, I mean, words can't even describe like how much that means to me, and that's you're 100% accurate. Walking into LaxCon and asking you were stringing for somebody. I think it was like String King or something like that. And walking in and having you mentor me with lacrosse and then being able to stay in touch with you, that's been something that's been extremely motivating, because it's watching you follow your goals as well. And follow what's best for you, and that's something that's and I'm not just saying this to say that's guided me, being able to watch you and when your kid was born, watch you as a father. That's been something that's really motivated me as well. And I can't appreciate it. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It means the world to me. But I won't get too riled up about your boys quite yet. I think you got to wait.
That's what I'm talking
That's how
about.
I always am. Like you can ask anybody. I'm always like that. But
you got a tough SEC to get through now, boy.
Yeah, I know. I think my biggest question for you, right now, and this is probably going to be any kid that watches this later on, or any, as I call it, gear whore. When you went to Michigan, they always say you guys are spoiled with all the great gear, and everybody always asks, what's your favorite? What's this? What's that? In my eyes, I've seen a lot of guys. I talk to a lot of like Texas boys, and they always say the gear comes, but that's not what means the most. In your time there at Ann Arbor, yes, the gear is amazing. You guys are sponsored by Jordan. I'm jealous because there's Jordan cleats that guys want. I look at it and say, dude, I know a guy who can wear those. Is that what kind of like, do you push that way? Like when you were looking at recruitment, did you also kind of go into that gear phase of like, all right, I could rep some of the best Nike chassis in the world? Or was it like more of, yeah, I can get myself into a better place, but that gear is also kind of nice.
Or you can just wear that winged helmet, brother.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the gear is a nice perk of coming to a school like Michigan, but looking into my recruiting process, I don't think it really had any effect on me choosing where I just, because of the gratitude, or not the gratitude, because of the size and the just honestly the sheer size of the decision I was making. This decision that I made to come here was a decision that's going to decide my future. And so coming to Michigan, my
oh boy.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh! All right. Well, we'll get Cole back on here.
Yeah, I think he'll jump back on.
He'll be ready to get back on. However, well, I'll tell you what, man. This has been great conversation with him, dude. It's
Lost you guys. I'm back.
That's right. He's back. He's back. He's back.
There you go.
I'm in a dorm, so the Wi-Fi is a little spotty.
I got you.
Coming to Michigan was a decision that it was deciding my future, right? And the big thing for me is, like I said before, is can I play against the best of the best, and having no regrets about when my time comes to leave Michigan, that I did everything I could to not only make an impact on the field and for the team, but also off the field and for the people. And I'm in a position right now where I'm blessed enough to be able to impact people's lives. And I remember when I was a little kid going to lacrosse Final Fours up in Boston and Philly and all those places, I'd be sitting on the sideline and I'd be screaming for the guys, asking for gear, like all that stuff. But the games were over. And now that I'm older, I should say, I get little kids reaching out to me, hey man, like give me a follow, please. And I follow them all back because it's like I was once that little kid, but I feel like my purpose with this is being able to impact as many people as I can, while also my goal is to make it to the NFL, right? While also making an impact on the field, becoming the best player I could be, and reaching my goal of making it to the NFL. And those were the things that really played into my recruiting process.
That's
Sweet,
amazing, man.
yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Well, again, we appreciate all this time you've been spending with us, and we're going to go ahead and get moving into last week's divisional NFL recap. So I'll go ahead and start off with Cole this week. We had last week's Baltimore 34, Houston 10. Did that score surprise you, or were you like, hey, that's Lamar, he's going to take care of that game?
See, it surprised me, but it didn't, because at the same time, it's playoff Lamar, so you never know what you're going to get. But he's a quarterback that I wouldn't trade him for the world. I'm glad we paid him. He's one of those guys that you can tell is a leader off the field, and I had no doubts about it going into the Texans game. I do like CJ Stroud a lot, but I feel like our defense, having Lamar Jackson, having that dual threat weapon in the backfield was enough to cement the deal, and I didn't think that was. I didn't think that was a issue at all. I thought we were gonna. I expected that score 100%.
I guess you can say you like CJ now that it's a year removed.
I do like. I do like CJ now that he's not in that
other team.
Not at the other team. Not at Ohio State. But I do respect him. I respect his beliefs a lot. I 100%. Think great guy, but he is 0-4 to the Hardballs. So.
Yes. So Texas, CJ, think about like awesome. With the Texans. Again, we've seen this monster rookie year by CJ Stroud. What's your kind of idea about the Texans moving forward after this year? Again, making it to the divisional round, winning a wild card game.
I think, with the Texans alone, I think this shows a lot. This is a rookie head coach in DeMeco Ryans and a rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud. There's a lot they can learn upon from this season. CJ had some solid guys around him, with Nico Collins coming out of nowhere towards the end of the season, which was probably what helped me not get in that loser's bracket of our fantasy football. So thank you, Nico. But, outside of that, dude, I think Houston is looking up. And,
also think about the fact that they were missing Tank Dell the last half of the season.
Yep. Yeah. And that was a big thing that, everybody's mentality is next man up. I mean, I don't care where you go, who you play for. Next man up is the mentality. And that's what Houston was going through. And the fact that, DeMeco Ryans found that next man to step in was phenomenal. So I definitely think that Houston has a good season coming in next season, and I'm very excited to watch. As for the game itself, dude, I could tell you, being 10 minutes from Baltimore that day, I could hear them. That stadium was rocking. It was loud. It was amazing to hear just being around the area. But, dude, it was cold. It wasn't Marco cold, but it was cold. And those guys who stayed out there were ridiculous.
Cold.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Shut up.
I want to add
to get 40 degrees and you say it's cold.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my brother was actually he lives in Jersey City right now. He was actually went out for the game. And like he commented on the weather. I talked to him on the phone. He's like, it's cold here. Texans aren't going to be ready to play in this climate, especially coming from Houston too. When we played in Houston, we were in shorts, t-shirts, walking around. It was 55, 60, 65 degrees. It was beautiful. I that definitely has an impact. There's no doubt.
It beats like 5 degrees with -20 wind chill.
Yeah, no doubt. It was freezing.
So, kind of moving on from that game, I mean, Lamar had 4 TDs, and Baltimore defense, they give them credit. They shut the Texans out in the second half. So, I think that's a really big stamp of approval for the Ravens. Troy, moving on to San Francisco, Green Bay. San Francisco 24, Green Bay 21. There's some opportunities for the Packers to close the Niners out, and they just never took advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it was really surprising to me. The stat that I saw that really kind of boggled my mind at the end of that game was when they were saying that San Francisco was 0-16 going into the fourth quarter with a deficit.
Like 0-29, I think.
Oh, was it that much? Okay, I mean. Yeah. I mean, it was
like
a lot.
0-30 or 0-29.
And I did not expect that at all. I'm like, they've had to have a comeback or something, but they never did, I guess. So, I guess it's just that MVP quarterback, Brock Purdy, was able to lead them down the field. And that's for you, Bacon.
Oh, let them have it.
So, what do you think?
But no, I mean, it was a really good game. It was a really good game. The Packers showed me a lot. I did not expect that. To be totally forthright and honest, I thought both NFC games were going to be blowouts. I really did. And that's not what happened at all. The Packers came out and gave them all they had and had every legitimate shot to win that game, to be honest. So
what do you think, Brandon? Jordan Love coming in off the pine, sitting behind Aaron for the past 3 years. And so, I mean, it seems like he learned something.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that during the Dallas game. I mean, that performance by Green Bay, the way they were able to just manhandle Dallas like that after, people had Dallas going to the Super Bowl, which is outrageous to even get out of your mouth. But no, Jordan Love showed.
We're going next year. Next year, we got the ticket stamped. Fuck you.
We've heard that one before.
But no, he showed his inexperience when it comes to when you need to have the play and when every drive matters and every throw matters, which is what a lot of people wanted to see out of Purdy this whole season, because they said he couldn't play without Debo and he couldn't win without Debo, but he did. And yeah, I think it just showed Jordan Love's inexperience in the playoffs, and it showed a lot about, Brock Purdy's experience and how he's been in he's been in the playoffs, so he knows. He's got that experience, which goes a long way. So, and he's proved a lot too. He proved a lot of doubters, I think, some that are willing to educate themselves with it are able to take away from that game that, listen, he is what he was entire year, an elite quarterback. Like when every drive mattered and every throw mattered, he did it and he got his team to win.
That's good stuff. And honestly, I think kind of wrap this up that Jordan Love uncharacteristically had 2 interceptions. He hasn't thrown 2 interceptions since week 3 or something like that. So for him to throw, but again, it's a playoff game, a lot of pressure, a lot of big spots against a good defense. But at the same time, the one thing I think I learned, which is a bad thing being a Bears fan, that Aaron Jones is a dog. I mean, that dude's a monster runner. You give him a lane, and I mean, just seeing him truck some linebackers off him and shed a tackle and,
Speed
get
and
that.
power.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, he's a bell cow dude, and for the Bears to have to face him twice a year moving forward, I don't like that.
People don't understand the size of that. He's not a big dude, like tall dude, but I was reading he's big too. Like being
he just looks like it just seems to me he's like a freaking cannonball. Just like when the ball's in his hand, boom! It's just this.
Well, remember Eddie Lacy was the same way too when he was in Green Bay. Like built. Just you weren't tackling the guy.
Yeah, but Eddie Lacy was just big. You know, he was kind of slow and clunky.
Right, Aaron, he's
Aaron
big
Jones
too. He
is
just
not
can
clunky.
move.
I mean, that dude, he can shake and he can truck.
Yeah,
And he's got decent hands too, and I think that's an underrated part of his game.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I can't believe that's what am I saying about this Packers crap? Okay, moving on. All right, moving on to Detroit 31, Tampa 23. In order to move on to the first NFC title game since 1991.
This
all right,
that wasn't the right game. That's not the right game, Marco.
Yeah, Marco's messed up. He's back behind the scenes. he'll show his ugly face in a few minutes when we're talking about the Chiefs. But Cole, you're up in
Lions
Michigan.
took care of the Bucs.
You're kind of you're in Lion country right now. Again, not being a Lions fan, you hear a lot of stuff up in there about. So what's the vibe up there in Michigan right now?
Ann Arbor almost burnt down. I'm going to leave it at that. Michigan has been rocking when the Lions have been balling out. They've been absolutely. The whole place has been like when we won. I should say when Detroit won the first game against, I think it was the Chiefs. All I remember, so I'm in a dorm, right? I'm in one of the bigger dorms on Michigan's campus. It was like 11:30 end game, I think it was. And I opened my door, and I could hear from outside my window. All you heard was people screaming and just stuff breaking, like trash cans being kicked over, it was wild. And since with them advancing this far, this place has been rocking lately. Everybody seems to be in a lot better of a mood than they typically are up here.
So, any plans with the other college kids to find a place to go watch the game this weekend?
Yeah, so one of our buddies has he has an apartment. He's a year older. He has an apartment up one of the nicer like larger apartments. He's having a bunch of guys over this weekend for the game. Gonna get some stuff, so should be a good time. And gonna be a lot of Detroit fans. So. When it's going to be interesting to see how that game plays out, but when I walk in with my Lamar jersey, it's going to
you got to represent.
Strike some controversy in that room. But no, yeah, we're a bunch of us.
Hopefully they take it easy on you. It's not your fight tomorrow. It's not their fight on Sunday.
Not this weekend. It's not, but maybe down the line. They got a tough matchup this weekend, so we're going to see.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, Cole, if you're going in there repping your Lamar jersey, right? And 4 years from now, we're talking about Cole Morgan as the next offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's going to happen when that photo populates with you wearing a Ravens jersey?
That's a great question. I'm going to pop it on, and I'm going to be I'm going to post the same photo and try to get that one to recirculate.
It's no different from Josh Allen posting with his Brady.
You're right. Josh Allen was a huge Tom Brady fan. You're 100% correct.
Same division.
Yep.
Playing against him.
Yep. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. But it's one of those. That's always kind of boggled my mind because I've never been in that mindset where I feel like I even had a prayer of ever making it to the NFL, right? So to me, I never really thought about it. But to these guys like that are growing up and they have this dream and they have a realistic shot, like you have a team that you're rooting for growing up. But then if you get drafted by a totally different team, like how do you turn that fandom off from a team that you've rooted for your last 25 years? You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Look, if you're fortunate enough to make it to the NFL, and there are so many factors that go into it.
Who's signing that check?
It's a big part of that. It's a big part of it is being in the right place, right time, getting lucky, staying healthy. There's a lot of it that comes stuff off the field as well, and then it's your on-field performance. If all of those align, and you're fortunate enough to make it to the NFL, you growing up a fan isn't that deep. But it's really not. You're going to achieve your goal, no matter where you're going. You're going to be able to play at the highest level of football and make a career out of it. That's something my being a fan would go out the window a little bit there. It shifts your whole perspective.
Fandom changes really quick when somebody's paying for your well-being in your life and your
Right.
and your family, you know, taking care of your family, all that kind of stuff. Whoever signing that check, all of a sudden you're a big fan of them, you know.
That's exactly what it is. It's whoever's gonna pay me is who I'm a fan of. So that's how it.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, TJ getting in this Tampa Detroit game, it was really neck and neck most of the game, and a late surge by Detroit, getting a couple quick touchdowns early fourth quarter, really kind of turned things around.
Yeah, you know, I rode that coattail from Baker Mayfield, man. I mean, he really impressed me, and that was something, you know,
He didn't play a bad game though, honestly.
He didn't, you know, and that was something that I will not hear no flack from. And Ben, if you want to say something, that's fine. At least your Chiefs heads weren't made into queso this week. It's all good. But you know, I don't know. I had a weird feeling, honestly. Like coming into halftime, I had a very weird feeling about this game, and I think I was texting my one buddy at work, and I said, "Dude, I think Detroit's going to the championship." And he goes, "Why? The game's not over." I said, "I have a feeling. Like there's just like this certain feeling I had." And they won. He looks at me. He goes, "All right, what's the winning lottery numbers?" I said, "I can't give you that one. That I can't give you." But it's the fact that, you know, yeah, I rode Baker Mayfield's coattail. He did not have a bad game. But Detroit, dude, like they are just gritty right now, and they want to play. They want to show, yeah, we were the laughingstock of the NFL for a good bit. Now we're coming around. We're finding a quarterback who I think you said it last week. A quarterback found a new spot. He needed a change of scenery, and that change of scenery changed him for the better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like as I like to say, dude, that was a perfect spot for Goff to go to because, you know, yeah, he went to LA. He went to a Super Bowl, lost to the Patriots. Whoop-de-doo. Everybody lost to the Patriots back then. Can't do it now.
Sorry.
But, you know, then he comes
to Eli.
Yeah, except for Eli.
Yeah, we don't like him.
But then he comes over to the NFC. You know, he comes over to a good division that's known for just brutes. I mean, these guys will take your head off no matter where you play. And he's playing that division to the point where he's like, you know what? I can get a hold of this. And then they're building around him. They're not building for him. They're building around him. Offensive line, you know, running backs, receivers, everything. He's in a good spot. So, you know, the Lions, I felt like my Lion senses were tingling in halftime, and it sucked. But hey, you know what? It happened.
What?
So Brandon with
Cole had something there?
Go ahead, Cole.
One thing that concerns me, I think you're 100% right. The one thing that concerns me is I think their offense is out. Is can their defense run with San Fran's offense?
Yeah.
That's the question that's going to come down to who's winning that game is if who can run with who. I think they're but
correct me if I'm wrong here, but my opinion on the Detroit defense is I don't think they're ever going to be a dominant and take over the game. I think what they need to hope they can do against San Francisco is be opportunistic.
Close.
Yep. Be opportunistic, take away, get a strip sack. Something has to fall their way, a turnover, something big, because I don't think they're going to shut them out. I think San Francisco's going to put their points up, but they need a big game-changing play, and I think that's going to be the difference in this game. I really do.
They need to produce as well. That's a huge thing, too. They need to not let opportunities slip by. If they do that, the game's over, and it'll be a quick game. They need to, every opportunity they get, they need to convert it. They need to, and if they do that, and then they get lucky, they get a strip sack or a pick or a turnover or a big penalty against San Fran. I think that game is going a different direction. So that'll be interesting.
Well, since we've wrapped up both NFC teams, Brandon, let's go ahead and are we gonna end up with the Chiefs? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Chiefs. Go ahead, Marco. We'll stick with the script. Actually, Brandon, I know Troy's got a comment on this Buffalo KC game.
I'm done.
Are you real quick take, Brandon? 30 seconds. Are you? I'm gonna say, so how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised are you of this KC Buffalo outcome? 1 meaning not surprised at all, 10 meaning like it's like whoa.
I mean, that's kind of I guess I'd put it at a 1 because it's every time they play each other, it's like this. It's always close. It's who's going to make the last play when you need to make the play in those
Not who.
moments. Yeah, obviously not. Who doesn't do it.
We know who it's going to be. It's not going to be the Bills.
But yeah, the game didn't shock me as far as outcome wise. I was shocked at how Buffalo how they handled the end of that game. I was shocked that they couldn't capitalize on that moment to finally put them away, or at least to have a chance.
So Troy, clearly being a Bills fan, holding on to a little bit of that anger from Sunday. I mean, can't complain. Josh Allen played a heck of a game. I mean, he had a great playoff run, no turnovers. He produced pretty well, and I mean, put one right on the money to Stephon Diggs, the man who wants the ball, and blurb.
Yeah. That was a 70-yard dot right through his hands. I mean, that was.
He says he overthrew him.
Oh, who said that?
Did you see him?
No. I think he was saying that he was this close to making the play. I think that's what he was saying.
I would hope so.
Yeah. No, dude, there was no. That was right in his hands. That was not an overthrow by any means.
Yeah.
You couldn't have placed it in his hands any easier. No, Josh Allen did do. He does seem to turn it up in the playoffs for whatever reason he does, and he just unfortunately is not getting the outcome he deserves. They got that ball back in the fourth quarter, 27-24, with 8 minutes remaining, and they literally, I don't remember where they got it at. It might have been around the 25-30, something like that, and they literally drained that clock until they had that game tying attempt at the field goal there. That was unbelievable, the way they were just moving the ball, and all of a sudden they get down to within that 25-30 range on the other side of the field, and they couldn't move it anymore. And to be fair, Allen did miss Shakir in the end zone. He did get hit as he threw it. People say he could have checked it down to Diggs there. I don't even think Diggs was. I think he might have been like the last read on that play. I think the first read. I think that play was set up to be a shot play. I think Shakir was supposed to get that set up there. And I mean, he was open. It was right there. He just gets hit as he throws it. Now, the thing is, you make that touchdown there. I think there's still a little over 2 minutes left in that game at that point, or maybe a little under 2 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but you know what's going to happen there. You know Mahomes is going right back down the field and at least tying it up, or I guess they would have been up by 4. So they're probably taking a lead, coming back, doing that thing again. So and then we get that whole thing from 2 years ago, the divisional round, when, Chiefs and Bills are scoring 35 points in the last 2 minutes of a game, So I don't know what would have happened there. It would have been exciting to see, but yeah, just missed opportunities like always for Buffalo. It's really frustrating. They can't get over that hump with the Chiefs right now, and it's a shame. They got the team to do it. It's just that things are not falling their way when they need them to. That's really what it boils down to. Not taking those opportunities.
Mr. Producer Marco calling Producer Marco. Oh, nothing. Turn that music down. Turn that music down.
I didn't know you were a Knowles fan.
Gentlemen, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Troy was getting on the right track. Is the fact that Buffalo was not stopping Kansas City all night long. Like outside of, I believe it was one punt, and then the rest were all kneel downs. They weren't stopping them. Oh, and the one fumble to the end of the end zone, which it sounds like they're going to change that rule. Offensive fumbles to the end of the end zone might become not a touchback.
They changed that to, by the way.
But yeah, maybe
they back to 20. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe don't lose possession.
You shouldn't have to lose the ball because
you could bring it back to the same loss it down, same go to the same like an incomplete pass, right?
It's a whole other crazy conversation, but it's weird because every rule favors the offense. You'd think one rule would favor the defense, right?
True.
Yeah, like I don't know. Understand? There's no way. Like, how could you even? That has to stay a turnover. That has to stay a turnover. Period.
But why does it? Because the defense never gained possession. So I don't. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, no, man. But you're
because what's the difference if you fumble it out of bounds?
Because there are rules. You play by the rules of the game.
But you're going.
They might be changing.
And I heard an argument earlier today, like the end zone is different. It does have different rules. You can do different things. You got to just get the ball just past it. So, kind of like on a kickoff or a punt, right? If it's a live ball, I just don't think the offense should be penalized and lose possession. So, but either way, the Bills weren't stopping them. Kansas City is clicking on all cylinders. They were really moving the ball well, catching the ball. MVS came out with 2 really good grabs.
Yeah. What happened? They should inspect his gloves, by the way. That was
right. I'm sure. Yeah, drug test them. So and
hey, Marco, real quick before you finish your point, 5 third downs the Chiefs had the whole game. 5.
Yeah.
5 third downs.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, the Chiefs also benefited from a banged up Bills defense, right? So they haven't played anybody healthy, but it's good to see the offense clicking on all cylinders, the guys catching the ball, and also that fake punt with 13 minutes left against 10 guys on the field and giving you the ball to DeMar Hamlin. Like, give it to anybody else except for a part-time DB that weighs 135 pounds.
But you just kick the ball.
Like,
how about
or line up for a play? Line up
I'm
for a
okay.
play.
I'm okay with the aggressiveness of the call. I'm just not okay with the call.
Or and when it gets called out, like it got called out from the sideline and on the other side of the ball, like they're onto us, and they still ran it. Like
don't just kick the ball.
And you know what? The other thing I thought was really odd about that, and I've watched Bills game the whole year, obviously, so I know this, but never once that whole season when they had their up man behind, which it was Hamlin this game, he doesn't move left to right behind the center. And I don't know if you noticed before they snapped that ball, he started on the left, he moved over to the right, and then he moved back over to the left, almost like they were trying to gauge where the best side was to go for the run. Like that had to be a trigger too right away, because if they're watching film, they know that doesn't happen. Like, okay, they're up to something. Like,
it tell that if they're watching film and people don't realize how deep in the film that everybody gets into at this and that level. You're watching film, you're looking at half a yard positional movements that are going to be key indicators for which way the offensive line is going, or what the play is, or what type of play it is, or what's going on the field. That's definitely a tell. If they're watching their film, as soon as you see that, you know something's up. You alert it, and it's covered, right? And that's it. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to succeed at that level. And that was something that was the dead tell. That's a good call saying that, because there are the little tells like that. You may not see them, but those guys on the field definitely do. And if not, the guys on the sideline definitely they'll communicate that.
So, Marco, what's your honest take on that penalty, on that pass interference call?
Oh, that was not pass interference. That wasn't.
But
it didn't matter because they stopped them. They stopped them 2 plays later. But
that was a huge momentum killer for Buffalo.
When the linebacker hit, might have been Rice or something.
The super delayed call.
Yeah,
the super delayed call on the pick. The super delayed call on the pick.
Field, like they were heading off the field.
Well, so same thing though, right? So they talk to refs and they understand game plan. Refs watch film, and so they know that these pick plays are coming, and it's something that the league has been really, hammering down on. And it was the right call. You can't.
No, it was not right though. It was
not
the right
call.
call.
Can't do that.
So before he said producer Marco,
it was still in his hand. He was still within 5 yards of the line. That's not pass interference.
Hey, we got to get your opinion on AFC title game this Sunday. We gotta get your clearly Chiefs, but what's your number?
They got rain all day. Give me Chiefs 26, Ravens 21. Harrison Butker kicking tons of field goals.
All right, back to your hole, Marco. Get out of here.
See you guys.
All right, since we are talking about the AFC title game and Marco's got his pick in, let's go ahead and talk about Championship Sunday real quick. We got Kansas City at Baltimore. This is the early game, I believe. And and it's let's see what start time is on this. Start time is 3 o'clock. Rain is expected all day, all weekend long. Big Cole, Big Ravens. Let's hear your take on this. I know you got Ravens, but what's cooking?
Got Ravens. I think the rain's going to benefit Lamar being able to run the ball, and I think it's going to hurt the Chiefs. Again, it comes down to can the Ravens capitalize on every opportunity they have against a team like the Chiefs, where there's no room for error. They're an experienced playoff team. They know what they're walking into. they're ready to go face Baltimore. Now the question is, Baltimore, like I said, kind of about us earlier. Baltimore is, I personally think it's a better team. I don't think it's. I mean, it's close, but I don't think it's that close. I think Baltimore is a better team. Can Baltimore execute what they've been doing? And if they could do that to a T, they're going to win the game. I think the rain's going to help Lamar, especially being able to move out of the pocket and being able to run QB draws. And I think score prediction, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'll give it a few field goals kicked. I'll say 28-21 Ravens.
You've been enjoying Roquan Smith out there, courtesy of my Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Big pickups for us. That's no, he's been balling.
Yeah, he has.
Two amazing linebackers.
That Ravens defense been number one across the board. I mean, run overall defense, the passing, run. I mean, there are no leaky spots in that defense. It's going to be tough for Casey.
Thanks to former Michigan defensive coordinator Mike McDonald.
All right, Troy. So what's your take on this game? Who you got? What kind of score you got going?
I don't know. To me, this is going to be really strange. I've been a Lamar critic for a while now. I just and much like Cole said earlier, like I just never have seen anything from him in the playoffs that says, okay, this guy's ready to take it over in the playoffs. He played great last week. He did. He played a nice game. I think this really is going to. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I respect what Cole's saying there, but I think this rain. I think it's going to slow things down. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think it's going to be a struggle. I don't know that I see any team getting to 20, to be honest. I'm going to say, man, this is going to be tight. If this comes down to a field goal and it's tight, I think the Chiefs are going to sneak it out. So I'm going to say 19-17 Chiefs.
Wow.
TJ, you're the resident East Coaster.
Resident East Coaster, dude. I'm the resident Baltimorean. What are you talking about? That's right. I'm 25 minutes from the stadium. I could skateboard there if I wanted to. I don't know. The buzz around this area, dude, is ridiculous.
I'm sure.
I mean, they've got here in Annapolis today. They had a what they call the Ravens tag along, where they brought Ravens players out, and they came to the Naval Academy. They talked. They went to like Giant. They went to like all these places so you could go meet these Ravens. You meet the band, the cheerleaders, everything like that, and it was awesome. It gets the towns, the cities hyped up because the Ravens are a blue collar team. I mean, they feed off their fans, and I tell you what, dude, M&T Bank, that place rocks. And if I can't feel an earthquake this weekend, something's not right. So, and there've already been tweets and everything that, for you guys that are not around here, Taylor Swift with the Fantasies. Fantasies is a strip club. All right. She went to McDougal's. McDougal's is a strip club here in Baltimore. She went to Lexington Market, which is a place where you'll get bit by a rat and die. She's been to the Mondawmin Mall, which is the worst mall to ever go to because you'll get shot 5 seconds in there. All right. Her, Kelsey, everybody has been in Baltimore. They know what's going on. So I think they are secretly wearing Ravens jerseys as well because they know if they leave, they're going to get shot. Honestly, it's going to be a great game. The rain will decide this. I will say that. In my eyes, I honestly think this is a game that Lamar will show up and show out. He thrives in some of these odd East Coast weather games, which I've kind of noticed that, negative degree weather, the dude played like it was 110 degrees outside. Don't know how he did that. He felt very comfortable coming to a game where he's used to the weird Maryland weather. I mean, it just snowed last week. Now we're at 60 degrees today.
Yeah.
It's weird. I see this being, a very fun game to watch. You're going to see a lot of, I'd say a lot of defense in this. I'm not going to say no to that, but I'm definitely going to take the over on this one. And I'm going to say 35-28 Ravens.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. It's going to be a shootout, but I definitely think it's going to be that last possession is going to win this game.
And Brandon, with who you got going into the representing the AFC in the big game?
Unfortunately, I have to go with the Ravens because I can't root for the Chiefs. I'm really interested to see how Lamar plays in this type of environment. This is somewhere he's never been. And I think that second half against Houston's going to help their team as far as like going out there and like truly believing that, hey, we can really do this. But I'm interested to see how Lamar's going to do when, every throw and everything matters against an experienced, reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, So they know, and you're going up against Mahomes, so you're gonna have to play almost perfect football. So I don't think the rain's gonna affect it too much. If anything, it'll affect the Chiefs more because Lamar's used to playing and running around and rain over there in Baltimore. So I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be like a 35-30 Baltimore.
I'll give a quick. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. Maybe like a 24-23. I just got this weird vibe that Casey's going to pull it out like they kind of have been lately, and it's again I don't have a finger or anything to put on it, but here's what I do know. I think that game is going to depend on whether Kansas City can effectively run the ball against Baltimore. Most teams haven't been able to do that this year, so it's going to be tough. But again, I thought until Patty Mahomes goes down, I won't bet against Patty Mahomes. Going into the NFC title game, we got the lovable losers. The Lions are in the title, one step away from the big game. Again,
That's
a game
crazy.
that the Lions have never even been in. They've never been to the Super Bowl. Starting with Brandon. Again, what's your take on this? We got a big number on the over under and a nice weekend out in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that we are talking about Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game. Like, this is crazy. What Dan Campbell has done with that squad and bringing in Jared Goff and him having that chip on his shoulder, like, hey, I'm going to show you. You thought you were going to end my career by sending me to Detroit. Like, now I have the chance to bring this city to a Super Bowl, a place where it's never been. That they're gonna be riding a wicked high rolling in, but they're going up against the Niners, and I think the Niners they're looking for revenge, and Brock Purdy's looking for revenge because he didn't get to play in this game last year. So I think
hand it off.
yeah, I mean, I think the Lions, if they want any chance, they got to keep it close. They can't let that offense start rolling, and especially the defense. You can't let them get rolling either. You got to find a way to run. I think they might have troubles running against San Fran this time. Something just tells me I don't think San Francisco's defense is going to let them run all over them like Green Bay did. I think it's going to be an offensive game on both sides as far as quarterback dueling. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be that high of a score. I'm going to take the under on that.
All right, taking Niners in the under.
Yep.
All right, TJ, what you got, bro?
This one is I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to say the Lions take this.
Ooh.
And not only do I think the Lions are going to take this, I think they're going to take it convincingly. Okay. The 49ers are a well-rounded team. We all know this. They're great. They do have a chip on the shoulder from last year. The Lions have more to play for right now. And this is a team that, like I said before, they were the laughing stock of the NFL for so long. And now they're up there. They're in the top 4. They're in the top 4 best teams in the NFL right now. And Dan Campbell knows what he's doing. He knows how to prepare these guys. because he's been in their shoes. A lot of these coaches have played, but they haven't played like good ball. Dan Campbell's been on those 0-16 teams for the Lions, and he knows what he's doing. Dude, I think the Lions come in with a massive chip on their shoulder. I mean, they see the promised land. They know where to go. I think they take this. Now, I'm not going to take I'm definitely not taking the over on this one at all. 51 points is a lot, but I think it's going to be more of a I'm going to give it 28-10. Lions take this thing. Wow. And we're going to have to check on Cole after the end of that game because that place might burn down.
I think
All right. Go ahead, Cole.
Play.
On you, dude. Go ahead.
I think it's burning down either way. TJ, as much as I want to agree with you, I can't. I think it'll be close. I like the way Dan Campbell coaches. I like his aggressive play style. It comes down to, again, okay, he's going to call it aggressive. Is he going to produce, right? Are they going to convert when they need to on these aggressive calls? Are they going to produce? Keep coming back to that. And that's the question, especially with the risky coach who plays and who calls the game to win it, right? He's not playing to come in second place. He's playing to win it. And I think that'll play a big factor into it. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I know you guys disagree. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both teams have weapons on their offense. I think their defenses are good, really good. I don't know if I'd call them great. I mean, there are players on both teams that I would call great, but overall as a unit, I think they match up very well on offense, and I don't think their defense is as strong as their offense for either team. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I do think the 49ers are going to take this. I think they're like you guys said, they do have a chip on their shoulder for last year. Christian McCaffrey, after watching him last weekend, I don't know how you could go against that guy. He's a stud, and then they have weapons at receiver too, and then like we talked about before, I think Purdy is going to play composed the same way he did last weekend. I think he's going to be composed. He's going to take the team on his back, and I think he's going to take him to a victory. I think final score, I would say go as far as saying 35-20. 24 is what I would say. I think it's going to be it's going to be clear in San Fran's favor, especially playing in San Fran as well.
And Troy. So are you on the San Fran train?
I am. I agree with Cole pretty much 100% of everything he said there. And we did touch on it when we were talking about the Bucs-Lions game earlier. I think the only way the Lions really have a chance to legitimately win this game is if they get some sort of big turnover, whether it be a strip sack, a big interception, a pick six, something, even a return, a scoop and score, something. Maybe even a special teams play. I didn't even think of that. Maybe even a special teams play. They need something like that to go their way to have a chance. If it plays out normal and there's really no big plays that are game changing, I think the Niners win. I don't. If it's a 7 even, I'm gonna call it a split. I think it's gonna hit right at that 7. I'm saying 38-31 Niners.
I just want to give a little flowers to the Detroit freaking front office. I mean, my God. I mean, you've been hitting on draft picks. I mean, listen to these last 4 picks that they've made in the first 2 rounds. Penei Sewell, All Pro. Mm-hmm. Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, I'll take him. Jack Campbell, inside linebacker, dog.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta, next big tight end in the league.
Yeah.
Brian Branch, strong safety, starting all year for. I mean, it's like they just keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting at all the right positions. And I mean that Detroit offense is scary, dude. I mean, with Montgomery and Gibbs in the background. I mean, you got God. I mean, St. Brown. You again Laporta. You've got options left and right. But man, I just don't think that their defense is as good as San Francisco. I think they're just going to give a few more stops. I give San Francisco the edge, 34-31. All right. We're kind of getting close to the end of time today. We're getting a little over time. So we're going to kind of wrap all the way up to our last talking point of the day. Is that every year that in January, the last or the first major WWE pay per view of the year is the Royal Rumble. For a lot of people, this is their favorite. Personally, this is my favorite match of the year. So we're going to talk a little bit about the men's rumble, and we can maybe squeeze the ladies in too. So Cole, you watch any wrestling at all, dude?
Actually, so TJ was telling you that we met at a lacrosse convention. So my dad was working for the NLL at the time. He works in sports marketing. He actually did work last year for the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. So me and a bunch of my buddies back home, he got us some tickets for WWE. So we actually took a nice little day trip out there and watch some wrestling. I don't stay up with it, but I grew up a fan, and I love to hear what you guys have to say.
All right, Troy. So men's rumble match. Who do you think's the top one or two dogs to main event WrestleMania?
I mean, it's hard not to go with Cody in this situation, to be honest. I think that's who I'd put my money on, but to me, that's not even my favorite part about the Royal Rumble match. To me, my favorite part is the nostalgia acts that come back in, and yeah, maybe they only last, 5 minutes or something like that in the match, and they get thrown right out. But it's just something so cool about seeing those guys come out and getting their one big last hurrah, or even the surprises that you don't see. I go back to, 10 years ago now when AJ Styles made his jump over. I mean, that was amazing. Like, I wasn't much, in the dirt sheets and stuff like that, so I didn't know it was happening. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like AJ Styles in the WWE, what's going on? And at first, I didn't know it was like a full-time thing. I thought it was just like they just did some sort of like one-day deal, because you'll see that sometimes when they have like smaller promotions. Like even a couple years ago, Mickie James, she was still with TNA at the time, and she came into the Royal Rumble for that one match. So just stuff like that. I really love that about the Royal Rumble. I like, what is it, every minute and a half? Is that what it is when a new star comes out?
Every 3 minutes.
Every 3 minutes.
Every
okay.
3 minutes.
It's just a way to keep you excited. You don't have, sometimes those matches seem like they drag on, they go too long, and it's easy to kind of get pulled away and not see what's going on. But the Royal Rumble, you got to sit there and watch it the whole time, or you're going to miss who came out next. Like, it's really cool. That's my favorite part of the Rumble.
All right, TJ, who do you think's the next guy to either challenge, whether it be Roman Reigns or possibly Seth Rollins for the strap?
I don't know, man. Like this is a rough one to really talk about because there's so many storylines I could go. I think the biggest one for me, I'd love to see, and I know Ben's going to love me for this one, I'd love to see CM Punk win this thing and just go to Seth Rollins and just beat the living crap out of Seth. I mean, we already know he's literally about to leave because of the injuries he has, but that's one that I'd love to see. I mean, I know Gunther came after him this Monday and everything like that. I don't like Gunther. I'm sorry. I could kick his butt personally. I could put him on my shoulders and just bench press him. But no, I'd love to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania headlining it and get the real bad blood out of this.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go with Punk. I'm telling you, he came back. I called this a while ago. He came back. He's got that feud with Rollins. They're gonna fight. He's gonna win the Rumble. He's gonna take the title away from him. My real wonder is, could we see a Rock appearance in this Rumble match and solidify his match against Roman at WrestleMania
to have the Rock win the Royal Rumble? What?
30th, kind of like remember how and I just found this out earlier today, like the John Cena return a while back in, was it Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
That
Triple H did something similar too, right?
How they were able to keep that under wraps. Like that was like the biggest secret up to that point in wrestling, pretty much. So I wouldn't put it past him for something like that, because everybody wants to know when he said, do you want me to sit at the head of the table? What do you act like? Are you going to follow through? Are you just kind of, promoting something like?
John Cena wasn't the only big surprise WWE ever had. You remember the tag team at WrestleMania when the New Day took it over? Who that final team was that came?
The Hardys.
Yeah, the Hardys. But oh Lord, we lost Brandon. Marco wasn't happy with that one. But the Hardys were a team that they counted everybody out. They were like, they're never coming back. They're done. WWE's done with them. They came back for that one, and that then they did whatever. Jeff Hardy likes to drink and drive, so cool. Good for him.
I mean, not really, but okay. I wouldn't say that's cool.
Also, WWE might need to distract. That's a fact. I mean, you guys see the news that came out about Vince and Johnny Ace and stuff today. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, it wasn't good. A lot of allegations of sex trafficking and hush money from Vince, using corporate money to do it. So yeah, man, it's and again, he may not be the only one being pulled in to John Laurinaitis. Even words of like whispers of Brock Lesnar maybe even being involved in it. I
didn't hear that one.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. So again, it's again a lot of I'm definitely I'm not going to believe it until I actually see them tried, convicted, and given their day to do whatever it is. But again, those are some serious allegations.
Cole, did you have something there you were going to jump in on?
Yeah, I was going to say I was talking to my buddy. My buddy said that was on Bleacher Report today with Brock Lesnar. I was shocked to hear that too.
Great.
Yeah, and it's again, it's a lot of people will be out there being very negative, saying, "Hey, you can't trust anybody." You never know who it is, but if that does happen, if it does happen to be the truth, then then he'll be, there'll be consequences that he'll have to deal with. But
I'm just surprised through all this because this isn't the first time we've heard of infidelities from Vince, and he's even admitted to some. I just can't believe that his wife has stuck through him through all this. Like that just blows my mind. Like
loyal woman, man, loyal woman.
I don't know how.
However, if I were to choose this Sunday's Royal Rumble winner, I believe it's down to one of two people. I think it's either going to be Cody or Gunther. I think that Gunther. I think they're ready to take that Intercontinental title off of him and start to get some other wrestlers. Gunther's again. It's kind of like Roman Reigns. He's beat them all. And I think that he's ready for that type of match. He's a great wrestler. He's got stamina. He's got everything in the ring. His character is a little dry and a little boring, but at the same time, he's a bona fide go. He can go.
Could he be the next Heyman guy?
Gunther? No.
I don't see his personality. It's not.
No, I don't think.
I'm just wondering. I think he needs a mouthpiece. That's my opinion, and that's why.
Wasn't he top 4 or something like that in the Rumble last year?
He came in number 1. He lasted. He lasted like it was an hour and 14 minutes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like one of the last 4 or 5 men remaining.
I just feel that his character is missing a mouthpiece. I just feel like that could really help him get to the next level. Obviously, everything Heyman touches goes to gold. So, I just didn't know if that was a route to go or not. I don't know.
However, I will reserve judgment. I do like Brandon's idea about The Rock possibly coming out late in the Royal Rumble, 29, 30, something like that, and stealing the show and winning the spot to face Roman.
Because everybody wants to know, are you actually serious? We need somebody to get Roman off of it.
Well, here's the thing. The Rock has been promoting a little bit of he's been making some appearances and he's been saying, hey, the Roman and I we could do a WrestleMania. We could
did it on ESPN.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys truly follow certain wrestlers on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, but there is a wrestler who left the WWE, became a well-rounded actor, lives in the Tampa area. He put a he put a teaser out today on his Instagram story. It lasted 30 seconds. Oh God, he came out. We need wheelchairs and freaking helicopters out for him. He put a teaser out saying "to be determined," and I'll give you one guess of who that guy is.
Can we see him?
I don't know, but if Ben's about to walk in here, I'm gonna smack him.
I didn't know if we could see the guy. That's what I'm asking you. Was it Cena?
No, it was not Cena.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It was not Cena. Dave Bautista.
Ah,
Ooh. All right.
well, interesting.
And he says
cool
"to
stuff.
be determined," and it had his tights, and it had the trop behind it.
We'll
Interesting.
see.
Interesting.
Well, if we can maybe tack on the women's Royal Rumble match, since they are actually, doing a full Royal Rumble. I think it's like their 4th or 5th one now, which is cool. I think it adds to the mystique of the women's division.
Mhm.
Just kind of a quick swing around. Troy, any just quick guesses, real quick before you
I'll
close
tell you
things
what.
out?
I haven't been following the women's division much at all. So I really don't even know. Well, I don't even know who the champion is at this point. Like, where are we at with this whole thing? Is it
Rhea.
still Rhea? Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Got the same storyline like Roman. It's just, can we move on?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was assuming, that it was still Rhea Ripley, but I don't know. They seem to really be pushing. Was it Rodriguez? Is that who it is? Is that
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, they seem to really be pushing her. I don't know if that's who they want to
She's
look
out
at
with
next.
an injury right now.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not going to be her. Okay, hold on.
Well,
Hold on.
check that off.
Hold on. What about what's been going on with Mercedes? Or did she sign with anybody yet?
Yeah, I think she was with TNA.
She's with TNA now.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm thinking like somebody like Becky Lynch.
I know, but I'm just trying to think a little bit outside the box. That's all.
Sure,
Yeah, I mean, you
sure.
can always go to Becky Lynch. You can, she's
Nia
money.
Jackson?
She's fine.
Nia Jax, I think, is
my pick.
in my
She's
circle of friends. You know what the nickname we have for Nia Jax
What's that?
is a can of biscuits.
Damn it.
You know
That's
when you
horrible.
pop a can of biscuits and then some of the biscuits squeeze out the
Oh
sides.
yeah.
That's
That's not
horrible.
right. That's not right.
That's horrible.
I'm sorry. It's the closest thing. But I think she still is a favorite in the Royal Rumble. Maybe
I've got
even
one.
Bailey.
Yes. So
What's
I
been going
think-
on with her storyline? Because it looks like they were trying to kick her out of.
yes, they're trying to kick her out of Damage Control.
Yes.
And who was it? Oh damn!
Io Sky.
Thank you. Io Sky is trying to take over because they just brought in Asuka, like literally all the Japanese females are in that group
Mm-hmm.
with Io Sky.
Yep.
And they're trying to kick Bailey out. I think Bailey's going to win this, and I think she's going to take a title away because I think there's still 2 women's titles, I believe.
Yeah, Bianca has the other one.
Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is she's going to win. She can go out to Bianca. She's going to have that main title and go to Damage Control and be like, hey, I got a bigger title than you, so suck it. And, I mean, that's how I think it's going to be because they're trying to force her to go out of Damage
No,
Control.
so Bianca took the title from Io? Io doesn't have the title anymore?
No, Io is still the women's champion.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So it's
I thought
Io and
Bianca-
Rhea.
Yeah, I thought Bianca.
I was going to say, I didn't remember Io missing. I didn't remember her losing the title.
Let's see here.
Come on, Ben. where you at?
Io Sky is still the champion. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
maybe she takes it out of Io and stomps her
that's
feet
it.
in.
Yeah,
There you go.
I can
That's
see her
a
winning.
good storyline right there. Bailey wins
Yeah.
the
Is that
Rumble.
the one that
she
jumped off the
challenges.
steel cage
No.
with the trash can over the head?
No.
Oh no, that
Shotzi.
was Shotzi.
That was Shotzi.
I could see her doing something too.
All right, fellas. So hey, first
Hey.
we got to put a big thank you out to Mr. Cole Morgan. I mean, again, another round of applause. Thank you so much. Hey, you've been a trooper. Hanging out with us
Congratulations
the whole
on
show,
the-
bro. I mean, I know it's got to be tiring just kind of sitting in front of the camera, but again, hope you had fun. We really had a blast with you tonight.
His audio's not in.
Guys, this was a great experience. Got to talk about one thing that I think we all have in common, one love, and that's sports. And
Yep.
I had a blast with you guys. Can't thank you enough for having me on tonight.
There's one last thing I want to say to you, Cole. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
That's right. Hey, thanks again, Cole, for joining us tonight. For Troy, Cowboy, Brandon, this is Brad on the west side of Indianapolis saying see you later till next week. Till next Start Naked show. Have a great one. Adios. Peace. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.
This shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my dad bod. Oh my God.